If you follow my Facebook page, you probably saw that I got my first sunburn down here in South Texas on the second day that I went to the pool. It's been in the upper 80s down here. It is getting ready to be in the 90s, and I know a bunch of you are still dealing with snow and ice, and I'm so sorry about that. But I'm hoping this video brings you a little bit of sunshine. Hi, I'm Bonita and I am early retired. I'm not old enough yet for Social Security. I'm living on a low income and I am living off of savings. And right now I'm spending the winter in my RV in the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas. I normally live in Kansas. I have Frugal videos all year round, and I hope that you will join me this year in 2025 as we share ways to save money and live our dreams. If you're joining me for the first time, as my intro said, I'm living in South Texas in my RV for the winter, and I normally live in Kansas, and I'm living in a 55 and over park. It has some small houses here. It has some RVs. It has some giant RVs. It has people that live here all year round. So there's a mixture, but it's a very quiet, peaceful, safe community. This is my second year to be down here. They have all kinds of amenities down here that you can do as groups or on your own. So I thought I'd give you a little clip of the exercise room that I used the other day when I rode the exercise bike. And as I said in the intro also, I do live on a low income, so I share the things that I cook and make both here in the camper and when I'm at home in Kansas. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I made to eat this week. I made myself some refreshing Jell-O with mandarin oranges that I brought with me. I took 3 packages of that tuna that I bought on sale the other day for 68 cents and flaked it up into a bowl. Then I added some Duke's mayonnaise, some dried craisins. These make the best tuna salad. Some onion and some sweet pickle relish and a hard-boiled egg. Plus some of my celery from the garden, and then I put them inside of some of the tomatoes that I got at the farmer's market. We used to serve our tuna salad like this at the nursing home where I worked. That is actually my favorite way to have tuna salad, inside tomatoes like that. I prefer it to having it with crackers or having it with bread. There's just something about the tomatoes and the tuna that complement each other. So if you haven't tried that before and you like tomatoes, I highly encourage trying that recipe. Most of you know that I was a career nursing home administrator before I retired. But what you probably don't know is I worked in nursing homes for 7 years before I got licensed to be an administrator. 5 years I worked as a cook in the kitchen. 1 year I was a dietary manager, and another year I was the office manager. And I learned so many things in the kitchen. I already knew how to cook pretty well from my Depression era mother, but I learned a lot of things like this little trick with the tuna in the tomatoes that I had never experienced, and I still make that today. Next, I'm going to show you how I bought 2 staples for my pantry for under $1. Just a small pickup from the store today. I didn't need much, but I saw that I had another $4 off a $4 purchase at CVS Pharmacy, so I went and picked up another loaf of Panera bread, making it 49 cents. And then I wasn't going to buy any more eggs, but I saw on my Ibotta app that there was $2.50 off of any eggs that you bought at Walmart and a few other places. These are $2.69 for a half dozen. This made them 19 cents, but the dozen eggs have jumped up $2 to $6.79 now. I don't go through a lot of eggs. I used 5 eggs in January. I still have 1 hard-boiled egg left, and now I have 6 more that I paid 19 cents for. So I'm really excited about that. 2 really super deals
for under $1.
And for your smile today on this video, I have to tell you, I have lived 59 years. I have been to Vegas a half of a dozen times. But in my 59 years and all my trips to Vegas, I have never experienced an Elvis impersonator until I went to the Valentine's get together of the ladies here at the 55 and over park. So I get a lot of questions from people about my low income. I get asked a lot, you were a nursing home administrator, why do you have a low income? Well, working in nursing homes has not ever been like normal health care. For all of the years that I worked, only about the last 2 years were we even offered health insurance. We were offered like accident insurance and things like that, but not health insurance. And then when they did offer it, it was never affordable. It was crazy priced with high deductibles. There weren't 401k programs offered. So none of those things were available, even though I had a really good position. And in Kansas, the nursing home administrators didn't get paid well, not like they did in other states. They were able to get away with paying us very low incomes. In fact, I started at $40,000 as a nursing home administrator, and it's a lot of responsibility, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So I was putting 2 kids through college at a time, all the time that I worked there as well. I had 6 children, and all of my extra money went to pay for them to go to college. I wanted to support them through college and make sure they got a good education so that they could take care of themselves. They're all doing well and taking care of themselves. So I feel like it was money well spent. But when I get asked a lot, why don't you have more money, like a pension or something like that? Pensions were not available either. So I'm 59. I'm not old enough to draw Social Security until I'm 62. So I'm living on a very low income. I have a small investment income that varies every month. Usually it is $600 or less. I have my YouTube income, which is usually around $200 or $300 on the high side. Once in a while, I will get a TikTok payment for maybe about $20, but that is my income and that is what I live on. So, yes, I'm able to juggle this and live the life that I want. I'm so thankful for that because I have a back injury and it's very difficult for me to stand or walk or sit for very long. And I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to pass on frugal tips to others because I live this way. I walk the walk, I talk the talk. This is how I live day to day. And this is why my kids encouraged me to start this YouTube channel, was to share some of my frugal ways with all of you. And you guys have taught me so much as well. I would have never dreamed that I could quit before I was 62 when I was putting all those kids through school. I would have never dreamed it. But with good planning and frugal habits, I've been able to do that and still live the life that I dreamed of, which was wintering in the South because I hate the snow and the ice and it causes me a lot of pain. So I see it's very important for me to budget this in. I have already gone over and reserved for next year. So these are some of the things that I do, and this is why I consider myself low income. We all have to do what is best for us. And I would not have probably retired early if I hadn't had the back injury. But I chose not to apply for disability, and that was a personal choice on my end. I have friends who have applied and had a very obvious reason why they should get disability and they got turned down. And then when it was within a few years of their retirement, it drug it out so long that by the time they were able to get Social Security, They couldn't even get their Social Security because their disability case was still being processed like years later. And so I chose to not have that headache. And by doing that, I just live very frugally and I try to make sure that my money stretches. I've been able to do it so far. I've still been able to live the life of my dreams. I had my career all through raising my children, and I am married, but I married later in life, and he now has his career. We keep our money separate. We always have. I was still raising kids, putting them through college, and he was living on a low income. Now he's doing better, and I'm living on a low income. It all works out. I work with what I have. I don't rely on other people to bail me out or pay my way, and I am satisfied and comfortable. He supports me in getting down here and getting home, and I talk to him every single day. A lot of people are like, "Why is your husband not with you?" Well, he talks to me every single day. We FaceTime each other every single day. He wants to pursue his career for a little bit longer. He is the same age as me. He's not ready to quit yet. And like I said, I probably wouldn't have either if I hadn't had this back condition. So, what is low income? Let me tell you what mine looks like. I did a video that turned out to be really popular about a year ago on how my budget was $21,500. At the time that I did the video, my income was more than that, but my budget was that because I was sticking away for retirement. Well, now my income is around $21,000 and I'm living on it and it's working for me. Now, how do I get $21,000 in 1 year? So I have side hustles in addition to the YouTube, the TikTok, and the small investment income that I just mentioned. And I also do mystery shopping. I did quite a bit of those when I was home in Kansas, midsummer through the end of the year. I also have sold items on eBay as I've been decluttering. That has brought me in some extra money, but not enough that I had to claim it on my taxes. And I do a lot of cash back apps, cash back credit cards. I've mentioned these to people. I have a lot of the links to them in the description box below. But just to give you an example, I got $80 in Amazon cards back from Fetch that I used on Christmas gifts this year. I have Receipt Hog that gave me $55 in cash this year. Receipt Jar gave me $50 in cash. Receipt Pal gave me $50 in an Amazon gift card that I used for Christmas. Swag Bucks, I got $55 in cash this year. Inbox Dollars, I got $20 in cash this year. I still sell Avon occasionally. I made about $50 in Avon this year. And I also use the Upside rebate app for gasoline, and I made about $32 there. And then I made about $63 from the Ibotta grocery rebate app. I also worked a couple of part time gigs. One was as an election poll location supervisor. Election poll workers are paid. A lot of people think that they are volunteer, but they're not. And as a supervisor in a location in our county, I get paid a little bit more than the poll workers. I have a little bit more responsibilities, and I have to go to the courthouse twice to pick up supplies, return supplies, that sort of thing. And mileage is also paid. And then I also worked for the Kansas State Fair for the entire 9 days. There's a training that's paid for both of those positions. And I worked double shifts all but one day. Now, these are This was just a sitting down position at the state fair, but even so, I had so much pain afterwards because of some of my physical problems. But I'm going to do both of those again next year. The beauty of these two gigs is once you get your foot in the door, you can continue to do it every single year as long as you want to. So those also added to me having some extra income. Now, that may not sound like a lot when you look at those individually, but they all add up. Even my credit card rebates, my Capital One was 188.21 this year. I had a Discover cashback rebate as well, and that goes back into funding my budget. You may think that this takes a lot of work to do all of this stuff, but it's just like frugal living. When you just add small tasks that you do regularly, like checking your bank account every day, checking your credit card statements every day, just little frugal habits that you add slowly, it's really easy. I don't spend hardly any time doing any of that stuff. I spend most of my time making YouTube videos and trying to come up with content and editing. I spend most of my time doing that. And then the rest of the time, I cook and I do the things that I want to do that are fun. So my retirement looks like that, but it keeps me from having to go to work on a 9 to 5 where my back is just killing me. Just from riding that exercise bike that I showed you at the beginning of the video, I've hardly been able to walk for 3 days. And on that video, as you saw, it wasn't even turned on. It had no resistance at all. It was just me pedaling. So this is the way I fund my retirement so that I don't have to work full time. Could everybody live on 21,000 a year and budget that in? I don't know. It would depend on your situation. It would depend on your spending habits, what you feel are needs versus wants, how much you spend on your utilities, where you live. I live in Kansas. I live in the country. It is very affordable there. My property taxes are low. I don't have like a water bill or a trash bill. I don't have a gas bill every month because we have propane. The only services that I have that are on grid are electric and internet, and then I have my cell phone. That's the only thing I have on grid. Everything else is off grid living. So this is how I make it work. You have to decide for yourself what is the most important. But because that video was so popular last year, I wanted to do an update now that I'm not working to let you know that that projected budget has been working this entire year. I did have to get some money out at the end of the year because I had some bridge work that had to get done on my teeth that dental insurance would not cover. So that's the reason I had to get money out. Other than that, everything else was on track, and I'm continuing to live frugally. I'm continuing to eat well. Sometimes I get some people, some random comments about food shaming, thinking that I'm not eating well enough if I'm eating grilled cheese or a hamburger bun. But I don't see that as eating poorly. So everyone has different judgments on what they want to put in their body, how much they want to spend on food, the types of foods they want to purchase, and those decisions lead them to how much money they need to survive each and every month. My needs are few because my peace and my freedom is large, and that's the part of life that I want to expand on. I hope this video has been entertaining for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I always enjoy visiting with you, and I hope to see you in the next video.